So one of the icebreaker questions I was going to ask was to have like the point of this is to have like a diverse or inclusive room. So which means there is going to be people from different culture, different type of names, different pronunciation of names. So I was going to like ask as an icebreaker who kind of like explain what's the meaning of our last names. I know for a lot of us have like common first names. Not apparently, none of us have a common first name here apart from Gwen, which is not even spelled like the Gwen I know. But yeah, but like apparently everyone in this room has a very interesting both first name and last name. Yeah. So one of the icebreakers is to like ask us to talk about our last name or first name if you want to. But I figured last names are usually more interesting. They can think about like a story or like something like maybe your parents gave birth to you and realized something mysterious and gave you the name. But I've heard stories like that. So so I hope you all are comfortable with that.
Yeah, sure.
Fine with me.
Awesome. Yeah. So does anyone have anything you want to share? Starting with me, I'm staying in Dubai right now. Yeah. I know. Obina, where are you?
Lagos, Nigeria. we're just chatting about the weather. Like they said, it's really hot out there.
Yeah.
It's always hot in Lagos.
Yeah. So I think why it's very bad for US right now is because they are not used to using ACs. So like it's that when they have hot weather, they have to basically like live in either they have to get a fan or something. But for us, since we are usually used to very hot weather, we have like chillers and ACs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's on the West Coast, on the East Coast, and like in the Midwest, they live without AC. But in the South, we do not. We all have AC. I understand.
Another fun
people
fact
in
is that
Seattle right now. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
In Kenya, there are no ACs in like the hotel rooms, and it was very weird for me to like see that because I'm like, where's the AC? And they're like, we don't need that here. It's always cold.
Yes.
And I'm like, really cold. No.
It's like it's one of the I think one of the cultural shocks I had in Kenya was the fact that they don't eat chili, like coming from Nigeria. Yeah, like like all this spice in your food and everything, and then I go to a country that's like literally a country in Africa. I don't even leave Africa yet. I was trying in a country in Africa, and they're like they can't stand the taste of pepper and stuff like that, which was super surprising.
Yeah. And if you try to order food, they would give you like pepper separately. They'd be like, "Oh, you're Nigerian." They're like, "Yes, yes." give me pepper. Because they know what you're going to ask for. Right? So they literally like bring it separately from the food, and they don't have like jollof rice, but they have palau that kind of looks like jollof rice. But then it's not spicy. But it's just really nice to see that even in like Africa, there's a bit of like there's a difference and there's people just come like having different taste and stuff.
Yeah,
really nice to see that.
Yeah, I think that's what one thing that Africans really find offensive when they travel outside of Africa and people are like, "Hey, oh yeah, from Nigeria, I have a friend in Kenya." I'm like, I can't even.
Oh my god! Yeah. That's. I don't know. No, like to be mostly. Someone would want to say, "Oh yes, I have a friend that's Kofo from Ghana," and I'm like,
it's funny that people still have a picture of like they have a picture of just one village that's Africa and everyone knows themselves, which is
I'm actually like deliberately trying to do this thing where I film anywhere I'm going to, like in Lagos, and I'm like, this is Lagos, this is a major city. Please don't think of it as like a place where people don't exist. But
yeah, and it's not so helpful because tourists when they capture African culture, they capture like lions in like wildlife.
Yeah.
They hardly like tell a story of what the streets look like and like how populated it actually is. And yeah, so everyone basically assumes that it's all like the motherland food and the motherland lions and like dancing with apes and those kind of stuff. So,
Gwenna, where are you from?
I'm from New York, but like my family's from Ecuador. I have like a similar kind of thing. Like I'll say like I'm Latina, and then people will be like, "Oh, so you're from Mexico?" No. There's a lot more Latin countries, you know. Yeah.
People, I feel like people just assume like stuff, but I feel like it's nicer to just ask, like, "Hey, where are you from?"
Yeah, definitely. Of course.
So I guess it all makes sense, like, because we're having this panel right now, which I like seriously don't like calling it a panel, because a panel is more like someone is asking all the questions and everyone is answering. But like I wanted this to be a conversation, a conversation like this, because at most tech conferences it's about like the best front end framework or the best algorithms and stuff like that. So no one, and then you spend like months working with someone, but you still confuse the person to be from Mexico when she's from Ecuador, that kind of thing. So it's like us, like us, like speaking about these things and people realizing that inclusion is not just like it's not just about it being on paper. It's about like this is what it actually means. Like this is what it means. It feels like to be marginalized or like just taken for granted or like underestimated, like whatever word you like to describe it with. Or it's not a favorite feeling. And I made sure we had people who were only from a non-privileged community, so you can like share this pain and like share this thing to people, so they know that building products is always about people. Like if you write like the best code, it's still about I just want to tell before I join this that coding is just trying to coding is basically describing data in a very interesting way. So if you are not able to still present data after you've written the best code, you've just end up wasting your time. And to present data, you have to understand the people you are talking to. You have to like understand that these people are from different places and they're going to perceive this information differently, and that it's going to mean different things to them. And it drives back to like stories when when I was being hired at Microsoft by Sarah Dressner, a friend of mine, who is a friend of both Shegun and Obina knows him. His name is JK. So he tweeted, he's a really good designer, and then he puts out a design that was really amazing. And I replied and like, JK, is it okay if I be your intern? And then Sarah messaged me privately and was like, I'm not sure you can still work for anyone publicly now that you're joining Microsoft. And apparently in Nigeria, asking someone if you can be their intern is like a kind of a respect, saying, oh my God, your work is amazing. I would love to. I would love to me, kind of. So those kind of little things can make communication be different to different people. And well, we're not asking people to entirely understand, but we're asking people to empathize, like be aware that those kind of situations exist, and agree that it's a problem, and you are willing to work to do your best to make it feel better.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mostly when people do like or what is inclusion, all of that, I'm like, hey, look, if I come to so for example, say I'm in Kenya, for example, and then I come there and then somebody just knows that this Nigerian is going to ask for pepper, and they put it by the side for me to just be able to get to that. Like, so when I get my food, I can get my pepper by myself. I'm like, oh, this person is thinking of me, and like that's cool. And also with like Nigerians and our slangs is like, it's totally different. You can misunderstand. So if somebody gets a job, somebody gets a job, people are like, oh my God, can I be your boy? Can I please hire me?
Is there Mizi and EJ, is there like, and like when is there like things? I know like I love the Black culture in the US. Like it's one of the things that influenced like my love for rap and like the evolution of rap. But like are there like at least for somebody like the culture that dates back to like in 2000 before 2010 or like mid 2010, I can maybe make sense of it. But like are there like new things that people like I should be aware of?
Like right now,
Yeah.
I would say like as far as rap music goes, just that the women are taking over in the rap game in the US.
100%, yeah.
Like I'm here for it. Like yeah.
Like growing up, like I didn't even know that women could rap. Like when people would say like women can rap, I was like, nah, they can't rap because all you would see is guys. And that was like when I was like in like elementary, middle school. But like it's so crazy to see like now it's like completely women. Like I don't even remember the last time I've listened to a male rapper since there's just so many options now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's
We had like
Yeah, so
Missy Elliott back in the day, right?
Yeah,
Missy-
there's always been like one at a time. though.
One-
So like
one person,
Missy
yeah.
Elliott, and then Nicki Minaj,
Yeah.
you know, or you know, there was Lil Kim and there was Trina, but they all like kind of
Yeah.
were one at a time. Versus now, there's like
Laura-
so many.
Exactly.
Laura
Yeah,
Hill.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My,
I
my
can-
mom put me on a lot of those. Sorry about that. Yeah.
I can't wait to like experience like the whole like what it's going to be like. Maybe they are going to do the non-beefy type of rap thing, like where like
Mhm.
like rap music is all about like diss tracks. Maybe this time it's going to be all about unity and making the world a better place.
We shall see.
Gwen, what kind of music are you into?
I mean, I listen to a lot of hip hop. I grew up on like hip hop rap, really. And yeah, it's right. It's like that same thing. It's like it was always one female rapper at a time, and then now not only it's like a lot of variety, they're always up there on the charts, like right up there, like number 1, number 2, number 3 spots. It's always them. They're always killing it on playlists and stuff like that. So it's great. It's great to see it. I also have like a little bit of a background in making music, like making beats and stuff like that. So it's like also in like the producer world, you're seeing like a lot of female producers also like making big things. So it's great. It's a great time to really like just enjoy the art, enjoy the culture.
Yeah, awesome. Chris is the DJ.
Yeah, we were talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I DJ. It's fun. Like it's one of my thing about music is still from me traveling. I realized that like music has like this whole world of emotions that passes through, but then it's not usually well communicated or well understood because of people from different backgrounds. So like I said DJing because I was trying to find out how to tell an African story through music to an Asian person, that kind of thing. Like somebody who would like it's that's like why I got into it. And then I started like learning about like fusions and how producers like make music from different genre by like meshing two of those genres, like putting elements from different culture together, so that if someone who is Arabic hears the song, they can relate to it, even though they don't understand the lyrics. If someone who is African, like an African can dance to the song, an Asian can like, feel the song and those kind of things. So it's like a new thing people are doing. Like there's this guy who did like he did this song called Droba, which like I know like a lot of people from Afrobeat know about it. It's kind of trending globally because of something like this, because it's fusing house and hip hop and Afrobeat at the same time. So he's able to like talk to 3 different audiences at the same time in one track, which is super cool.
Yeah. So I listened to this French artist, Tay-C. I don't know what he's saying, but I like how he's saying it. So I'm going to share the link. I don't even know how to say the name of the song, but it's like Monsieur something. But then he's saying something, and I like how he's saying it. So like I feel you on that music.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
So I'm bumping my head,
feel
and
it.
then my friend's like, "What are you listening to?" I give him my headphones. He's like, "What? You speak French?" I'm like,
"Yeah." So apparently, it took me time to learn that there are songs you listen to in public, and there are songs like you don't share with your friends that you're listening to.
It's interesting.
Yeah, go on.
I was gonna say it's interesting that y'all listen to music that you can't understand. I feel like in the US we really don't do that. Like, it's not as common for people to listen to music that is in languages that they don't understand.
Yeah.
I think it's becoming more popular, especially when Despacito, when that song got really popular.
yeah.
I think
Changed the game.
more people started exploring. But before that, it was like you wouldn't really hear non-English music on the radio or like in the stores in the US.
Or I think with like
yeah,
K-pop now is like
K-pop.
getting like super big in the US. Yeah, K-pop is just like taking over. And before that, it was just like you kind of like, at least for me, like I would listen to some French music or listen to some K-pop before, but like you wouldn't like tell people about it just because it wasn't mainstream or like that popular until now. Like BTS is just like defining the way that like international music can be so global, and then you see more like Hispanic music coming out, like more reggaeton tracks coming out. So
cool.
I think it's good. I think it's good that we're trying to expand, but like it's been too long. There's just so many like immigrant kids who like been listening to like their type of music for the longest time, and now it's just like popular. Now
I listen to D-Smoke.
So
D-Smoke does like this thing where he raps and then speaks Spanish, and then there's like this poet Caleb Femi that has like a poem about being Nigerian British but not Nigerian enough to be Nigerian. So he does like this whole poem about listening to Ed Sheeran and forgetting his Yoruba accent and just bopping his head and stuff. So it's I don't know. I've been in Nigeria all my life, so like I don't have so much context. But then
I feel like if any country should have should have like a lot of diversity when it comes to music, it should have been US, because it has like a lot of immigrants and so like
no, it's not like that. They just stick to one thing.
Yeah. Cool. I don't know what's like. I don't know what. Hi, Caris. I don't know if it's Caris or Charis. Like, but is there any update for us? I hope she's Well, even if we end up not doing the panel, at least we I made new friends and we talked about music and stuff.
She said 8 minutes ago that we are ready, but I don't know.
I think we have like 23. We have like 23.
Yeah,
people.
there's a little icon says 23.
Yeah.
So people are just listening to our chat about music. They're like, where's the accessibility stuff?
People are in the chat.
Okay, cool. What if we already started the event and we're almost at the end? Let's just start shouting out to people. Hi, if you're on chat, say hi, and we can shout out to you. Tell us where you are from. Tell us where you live right now. What you do, just fun stuff about you. I'll make fun of you too.
Oh yeah, I think we did start, and they just started talking about music. Oops.
Yeah.
Wow.
So about
I'm just shouting out to Colin on this from the chat.
Okay, I'll say about last names. So I have a pretty interesting story about my last name, because all through my life I was pronouncing it wrong, and every time I had to see my grandpa, he would be like, "What are you saying? What's your name?" I'll be like, Obina Ekono. He'll be like, "No, it's Obina Ekuno." I was like, okay. So I asked him, so what's the meaning of Ekuno? And he says it's not even the full name. That's a long name. It's Ekuluno. So it's Igbo. I'm Igbo from Nigerian Igbo. And then he explains it to me and he says, this name was given at a time when things were really, I'm like, okay, cool. That's nice. Nice to hear that. But then the point is that the name means it means if struggles don't kill you, if struggles don't kill you, then nothing else will. If you don't die here, you can't die anywhere else. I'm like, whoa, that's
what doesn't kill you makes it stronger, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's Ekuluno Eburomadu or Gini Gebuya, kind of so the point is if the trouble here doesn't kill you, nothing can kill you. I'm like, oh,
I like that.
It's deep.
So the fun thing about Obina, EJ, and my last name is that we have few words in our names that actually one word together. So I know Omuzulike like NW is one word, Nwamba in my name, NW is one word. And actually, like in the Igbo alphabet, they are not two words. KW
Yeah.
like
They're like one
KW
letter.
in Obina's name is one letter as well. Which is I just give out my own fun fact about my name, so
I can go. Yeah, like my first name is like based off of like Njama, which is my mom's name. And I still don't know to this day why she wanted to like make me slightly different and just give me 2 M's instead of the O. But it means have a safe journey in Igbo. I think that's like the closest translation.
That was it.
That's it.
It's like, I don't know, I'm going to send you, or even if you can help, since you have access to Spotify right now, you can send you can send the link to the song. Thing.
Which one?
No, it's not Jerusalem. The other song from that says wherever you go.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but basically, like it's an African thing to like, or like if you are leaving, remember the road that leads you home, kind of. So,
and then we say body Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a part of me feels like to be Nigerian is to just make jokes about everything, because like we're just really fun loving. We're just like, oh look.
Honestly,
I feel bad for people on Twitter because they hardly get it. Like
they hardly get it.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of time to be to get the the Nigerian. Like I know, like there was a beef between Nigerians and Kenyans, and like
you can have a whole Twitter war, and like people will be like, what are they saying? Because you can have a whole conversation in pidgin, and it's readable, and nobody knows what it means.
Yeah,
Google can't translate it for you. So like, how do you?
That happens to me a lot, actually. I'll be reading tweets and I'll be like, never mind. I don't know what they are saying.
So I think I think I used to see it in the culture, like the black culture in the US. They have like they could make a sentence and mess with the tenses a lot, and I'm entirely lost. Like I'm like, why would you refer to two people as is? Like, what happened to like that kind of thing? Like,
it's one of those things you just learn from like talking to people. It is one of those weird things.
Yeah, and it's so cool. When it's typed, it's like it feels so dumb. But when I hear it's like the coolest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, I'm going to start talking like this.
So I had this part in my life where like I was so trying to understand the grime culture in the UK. So you notice that they have like slangs that don't really make much sense because it's a mixture of like some Jamaican language, some like I don't know, Caribbean, like all of that stuff, and then you have like people are having a conversation and then you're not understanding anything. And then I watched Top Boy. You know how many of you have seen Top Boy on Netflix?
I haven't watched it.
Yeah.
You should. If you watch it, I promise you, if anyone from the UK starts to speak slang, you will understand what they're saying. So I'm like, what?
Yeah. Good. Now we have.
Shegu hasn't said much. Shegu, hey Shegu.
I had like a mini experience with that, with like watching Love Island with my sisters. Like you think like the British accent, the UK accent is understandable for the most part, but there's just some things that they say. Just like if you don't look at the subtitles, you really can't understand them sometimes. At least for me, like I'm just like looking at my phone. I'm like, I don't know what they've been.
Yeah, that was me watching movies as a teenager, like US movies as a teenager, because I couldn't make any sense of the accent. Yeah. Like I'm like, why would people talk like this? Just what? And then like I'm here like understanding everyone. So it's kind of like it's just what happens when you start listening to like an entirely new culture. And I noticed when a lot of Nigerians or Africans started speaking more at conferences, it was very difficult for like especially like whites to like understand what we're saying. I had like a feedback in South Africa where someone was like, you have a terrible accent, you should stop giving like conference talks. I'm like,
oh my gosh.
Like, yeah. So actually that made me embrace my culture more and make like I would like literally like switch and like start speaking in like a very deep African accent. And so
if I ever did like a talk, so I mostly do talks around Africa. But if I ever did a talk in like say the US, for example, I'm pulling up in the native, like pure Nigerian stuff with the hats. I'm like, say it with me. My name is Obinna because I mean I speak English, so yeah, you should speak my language too. Like try to understand me from where I am. Tell me, yeah, sounds different. Yeah. I'll tell you, catch me outside. How about that?
Shegun, you wanted to say something?
Oh no, I mean I was just talking about the fact that I really enjoyed like the conversation about the music and the genre that we listen to. I mean for me, I think it's mostly like Afrobeats and Burna Boy. I mean that's like one artist I really love a lot. Right. So so that was like one thing that wanted to chip in on that point.
Yeah. When do you listen to Burna? Have you ever listened to Burna Boy?
He released an album recently, right? Like last week.
Yeah,
I heard that. Yeah. So good, so beautiful. Oh
I have played that album. I have played that album so much that my roommates are tired of me. So now I need to wear these because I mean, like, there's something about it. You can't just explain it. It just
so much emotion.
It gets you going. Yeah.
Really so much emotional and spiritual, so to say.
Yeah. Was Burna Boy on Black is King on Beyonce's project?
Yeah.
On that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So there's this quote from Fela that I like so much because my dad made me listen to a lot of Fela. So Fela said, as long as so music is supposed to be for entertainment, for all of supposed to communicate and all of that. But for Africa, as long as people are the way the system is around here and stuff, music will always have to be a voice for people to say what they mean in a way that's like Shegu said, because he said spiritual. I was like, Fela, because Fela says music is spiritual. You have to feel it. So when you hear how I said I listen to a French artist and not understand what he's saying, but then I feel him. So that's it. Yeah, I'm putting a link to the album if anyone wants to check out Spotify. I can also make you a playlist. Just hit me up on Twitter. I'll make you a playlist.
I'm definitely gonna chew up.
I'll make you a playlist.
Cool. I wish I knew we were going to stay this long backstage. I would have just set up my DJ stuff and have a party.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah, but I still don't consider myself like a good DJ because I find scratching very difficult. And it's really cool because it's really cool learning something new that makes you feel very dumb. Because when I'm watching tutorials, the guy is just place your hand and spin, but then he's using the word simply. This is me driving this conversion back to inclusion. He's using the word simply, but then it was the hardest thing I've had to do. And then I went back to all the tutorials I've written and realized how much I've used simply in things that might actually be very difficult for someone who have never been in the world, in this world of programming or something. Yeah. So it's kind of made me start rethinking how we learn stuff and how we take things for granted and assume that people understand what we're talking about.
Yeah, simply and just. Those are my two least favorite things that people say. When people are like, oh, you just have to, and I'm like, no, it's not just. This is a lot of effort and a lot of work.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if it's simple for you, then it might not be simple for someone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially, I love so part of my job is to write docs, and I try to not say anything about it being simple, easy steps. Because I mean, people found it easy to do stuff. It doesn't mean I'll find it easy to do stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think I faced a very similar experience with Chakra UI and the docs for Chakra UI. I mean, at the beginning when we wrote the docs, I mean, I wrote things if you want your component to look this way, just simply pass this prop. And then I'm really, I mean, it might not be that easy for someone else to even understand what it means, right? So, I mean, at some point I'm let's just tone down the use of simply and just try to change the language to make it a lot simple and easy to understand, rather than use the word simply. It means if you actually use the word simply, it means it's actually complicated. You probably want to try to make it simple and actually change the entire wording and language and grammar.
Yeah, and there's a chance that when you use the word simply, even you as the author spent a lot of time trying to figure out how simply worked, and then you,
Exactly.
So, has anyone ever been in this situation where you say, "Oh, this is as simple as say ABC," and then you start to explain it, and then you look at the people that you're talking to, and their faces are like.
Yeah. So I
Yeah, I like cut out the word like obvious. Like I remember people like in school would say like, "Oh, this is obvious. You just do this, this, and that." And then like I remember when I was learning React and I was trying to figure out like the prop system and passing in props, people say, "Oh yeah, it's obviously like property." And I was like, "How would I know if it's property?" Like no one ever says the term property. They always say prop. And then like the more I started to realize like the obvious and simple things like people were referring to, the more I realized it was just like those were the complicated things that people either didn't know how to explain that well, or they just heard it from someone else and they just like ran with it and never really tried to figure out what it meant. So like when I like make my videos, I try to like watch my language to the T, because a lot of the stuff is simple from my perspective, but not to everyone out there, you know? And it's like, it challenges you to like really think about like, okay, like what would I care about as like a beginner or as like an intermediate software engineer? And I think it makes me a better teacher.
So I always like encourage beginners in to write from the first day they start learning something, because like most of the things I've taught as a beginner is able to resonate more with beginners because of the tone. Like even as an experienced person, I try as much as possible to simplify things. The tone is still, you can still tell from the tone of the content that this person is like knows this thing like way more than he's trying to explain it. But for a beginner, you can feel the struggle, and it's like you can empathize. You understand that this person is also like it's okay for it to be difficult, just like it is for this person, and like work with the person. One other thing I realized while learning Rust is this like new programming language, which everyone is saying is a new best thing, just like every language claims. But one thing I realized about Rust is that Rust introduced a like 30 to 40% of Rust is not borrowed from any language, which is unlike different languages where you are like, okay, this is C based, like an if statements have like all these things going on. Yeah, so there's someone made a research and realized that Rust is actually easier for beginners, like new programmers, than experienced programmers, because an experienced programmer assumes that, oh, I do JavaScript a lot, I'm just going to jump on this and do it for 1 week and then look for a job, that kind of thing. And then it becomes very frustrating. And then it becomes very frustrating and you start blaming the language. But then beginners are actually enjoying it because they don't have like, there's no way for them to measure what is hard or what is easy. And of course they already heard like from the tech gatekeepers that programming is hard, so they're already expecting the worst. So they kind of like just have that the expecting the worst mentality and like figure most of it out, while the experienced developers still like bite their teeth trying to make sense of all of the docs.
So sometimes I just go through some docs, and then if I see that I can maybe contribute or stuff, like if it's open source, I would just go and remove all these simple just sending a PR. But then I'm like, nah, if you need to, like, who do I speak to fix this? Because I'm doing someone else's job. And that's So, and then it's important for people to actually, I feel like it's important for people to actually say these things, because we understand it, but then some people honestly don't get why not to use simply. They would always, because I had a friend that was trying to draft out something, and he's like, oh, this is going to be catchy for beginners, and like he's saying this is simply. So I'm like no, and he didn't understand it. Why would I not do this? And if we're like moving, should I skip? If we're like moving over to like stuff like accessibility and stuff, some people don't understand. Some people are like, oh yeah, I'll do that when I have time for it, or I'll do that later, and whatever. But then, and also if you're from a country like mine, which there are no laws to tell you to do anything. Like nobody tells you to build an accessible site or they'll sue you. I mean, nobody tells you to do that, but like you have to. I feel like it's morally right. But then if you tell somebody in 20 years' time, you'll probably be blind, and you would still want to use the internet, would you build stuff differently? So when people feel personally invested, they start to do stuff.
Yeah, sure.
But then they do it for the wrong reasons, because they know, I'm doing this for myself. But then at the same time,
yeah. I'm going to ask a very controversial question. Yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a very controversial question, and it's okay if it's not something you don't want to say something about. But you all know when people on Twitter say that retweets are not endorsements, like when people like put on their bio. Yeah. So apparently it's a thing now that people are rethinking what that actually means, because if someone is, in fact, people are going to the extent of like, you can't even, like, for example, if someone is openly racist, or maybe he owns like a very, very, very huge company that everyone like have to use their product. I don't know why everyone is laughing, but I'm trying to not call names, but yeah. and maybe all your life you've read the book of this founder, and like it has inspired you to be a different person and this kind of things. But now everyone has realized that actually following and retweets are actually endorsements. I just want to like get what you all like have to say about it. Personally, I feel like it's endorsements. It's just like one of those things that there's no like either black or white. There's a lot of gray area to it. Yeah, because like a lot of like you might have like learned a lot from the person, and a lot of what you learn from the person have shaped who you are, even though it doesn't make you a racist just like the person, that kind of thing. So does that mean like you cut out that part of your life entirely, and because of that, or do you like yeah? I just want to hear like your thoughts on this.
Oh, so I think I have a lot of thoughts about that. So I feel like when you retweet something, you retweeted it because you feel like other people should see it, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you quote tweet it, that's different. Like if somebody says something bad and you quote tweet it to be like, oh, this is an example of what not to do or something like that, fine. But if you just retweet the tweet, then I mean, what else did you want? You wanted everybody else to see that.
Yeah.
The first thing I'll say is the streets of Twitter do not forgive. Like, it's juggle justice. First of all, I feel like you should be sensitive about what you want your people to see, like the people that follow you, because people like in our generation, and I say this, but I'm like pretty young, so I'm not saying this as like an old person, but like I'm pretty young. But like in our generation, like people will be like, oh, follow me on here. I have 2,000. Someone has 3 million followers, and that's what they do for a living. It's my dad has a hard time understanding this. So, but then, if people follow you, they follow you for a reason. So if you have like 30K followers or 4K followers or 3 followers, they follow you because like they want to see what they like your person. They've seen something, they want to see it again. So if you retweet something like you said, if you retweet something racist or something bad that doesn't, I mean, I feel like if someone retweets something, they agree with it or they want people to see it. But then if you quote retweet it and you say, no, this isn't right. Like this morning I woke up to a tweet about somebody telling somebody how not to dress professionally and how to dress professionally. And I wanted to be on that thread and say, hey man, this is what not to do. But then I'm like, if I engage this person, it's going to come on my timeline and my people will see this. So what I do is I go to his DM and I'm like, hey, I don't know you, you don't know me, but bro, this is not how to act. This is not what to do. So if he want, so then if he didn't respond to me, obviously, I think he blocked me. But then I said my bit. So retweets. I feel like retweets. You should be careful. Like I said. So
the crazy thing about this example you made is I interviewed. So I don't know if anyone knows Ire on Twitter. She's like one of like the big like tech icons in Nigeria. And actually like we're working on a project at Microsoft, and I interviewed her for this project as well. And the reason why somebody called her out was because in this other content that the person shared while calling her out, like the reason was that she wasn't dressed professionally, which drove me crazy because it's the same and it's annoying because when nobody knows the background of this story, when Iris sent Well, first of all, she owes no one any explanation. It's very, very stupid for him to say that.
Yeah.
But my point is that the point I'm trying to make is that if you do, she has a press kit. She would send you a link to her press kit. There are different pictures there. You choose. I'm very sure that's what the company that picked that. I'm sure it did not actually give that picture to the person.
That picture out, yeah.
Yeah, which means because that's the same thing she did with me. She sent me a link, and I picked that exact same picture that's what someone called her out for. So like I just felt like she looked really gorgeous in that picture, and that's how I want my content to sell as well. So if I want this content to sell, I need to present it very well. So
I mean, yeah,
yeah, and it felt like I was like, I feel this person is living 20 years behind like what is happening right now. I feel like he's so misled and he's such in a bad place. Like, yeah, so it was
I feel
so
like
bad.
he has a lot of free time. I feel like he has a lot of free time on his hand. Because that interview wasn't even that. Yeah,
too much.
I think so. Somebody should just ask him, do you need like projects to work on? Do you need like something? Because bro, how do you go to like an interview that's like months old to take a screenshot, and what you do in the morning is wake up and say, this person is not dressed appropriately. And you tweet that. I did this tweet when Twitter upgraded to 280 characters. I said, this is how the world ends, not with a bang. But with 280, you give people 200. Yeah, you're looking for trouble. You're looking for trouble. This is that at that point that was when 2020 started. 280 characters. That's when it started.
Oh my god, I totally forgot to ask everyone how you are dealing with 2020. I know like it's I can see like Gwen's expression. And I feel like there's God needs like press Command or Control Z on his keyboard right now because somebody press spoil. Somebody just press the key. I don't know.
Yeah, Gwen, how is stuff in New York? Yeah.
It's wild. So I'm like cool with like, you know, staying home and everything, but like my girlfriend lives in Toronto and I haven't seen her since like January. And you know, every month I'm checking like, is the border opening again? Is it opening again? And I've been like that since like June. And then yesterday I just saw that they extended it until September and they're probably gonna extend it to like the end of the year or something. So I haven't seen my partner for like by like the time they open, it's gonna be like a year. So it's like it's tough. It's tough.
Oh my god.
And like I have a lot of family in Ecuador that I visit over the summer, and that's like not gonna happen. We have like a house over there, and just like, you know, as introverted as I may be, like I miss like seeing people, and it's like getting to me finally. But it's like I don't know. It's wild. Plus, like not only the pandemic, just like everything else, like. Everything else that's going on, it's just piling up and up. It's just, I don't know about y'all, but I'm like, I don't know how much more you like one can take, you know? It's just like,
I know.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah, can totally empathize with that. I'm so sorry, Gwen. Like, hey.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. It's nice to chat with people. It's like, even though this isn't like in person, it's nice to be like a little social and kind of get out of our own like spaces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough out here. How about y'all?
Yeah, for me and Shegun, we're in Dubai. It's depressing for me because the weather is really hot, and usually what we do in Dubai, like Dubai is like one of the hottest places in the world. But usually what we do in Dubai when things are this way is that you even though you can't go outside, you hang out like maybe like in a huge place where a lot of people are having like festivals and stuff like that, and just meet people. But then at this point, you can't have those things. Like you can't meet people at the same time. You can't take a simple walk just to like clear your head because it's super hot. So it's like basically like locked in your house like 24/7 all week, all months, all year. Yeah. So it's crazy. I'm guessing that I think like Nigerian happened to Obina right now, and by that I've been like I'll be like. Yeah. Nigeria just happened to Obina, which like the power went off. Like I know this is something that people.
So there's this thing where when I'm doing like a talk or I'm doing this, I say a little prayer. Yeah, let the power be on. Like let it's kind of embarrassing. Oh, my power's going to go up, but don't worry, it's going to cut. But then, yeah, you saw what happened. But then that's cool. That's living in Lagos. That's Lagos on a Monday. That's cool.
Yeah. Does anyone want to share how they are coping with 2020? Mizzy, it feels like you have something like buttoned up in your chest and you really want to say.
No, honestly, I was actually supposed to move to Seattle this summer, but since the pandemic, I'm just gonna chill at home in Dallas. So thankfully, I'm not by myself, because if I would have moved like right before, I would be by myself, or if I would have stayed in DC, I would be by myself. But I'm with my family and stuff, so even though I have to stay at home, at least I'm not by myself. So that's kind of how I'm dealing.
That makes sense, and I can imagine.
Yeah, I'm in like the same situation. Yeah, like I'm just with my family too. I had roommates, but then they slowly left one by one, and I was like, I should probably go before I'm just here by myself. Back in New York, so I came to California in like April, and then my job is like returning back to work in like January. So the plan is just to stay in California until like the end of December, which is so crazy that there's only 4 months left of the year. Like if you just think about it,
I know
like, the year just nothing happened. Only bad things happen.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
To be honest, when all the COVID stuff hits, like I didn't even know what, like, because I usually just stay in my house. So, but then it became really hard, because usually I would go like for a walk or go out on Fridays with my friends, and it was terrible. And now, like, it's kind of like I've forgotten how to be outside, because now I'm going outside, I'm just going straight to the mall to buy something. I'm going back to my house. Mm-hmm. So what happens when all of this clears, right? Just still, it's
like the clubs here are opening up, but you can't dance in the club. You have to sit on a table and eat. That's it.
I'll say my head like
I'm like, so like I know
I dance. It's not nice.
It's a really bad time for like people like DJs, because
business owners and stuff.
Yeah. So, but
I can't imagine how much money people have lost.
Yeah, I've literally have my favorite place is here closed, kind of. So it's like, and like I've made friends with the waiters and all those kind of things, and then I can't see them anymore.
It's hard, man. It's hard. But things are like opening up slowly in Lagos. So you have like restaurants opening up, so you can go have like food and stuff. So I love this drink, a Long Island. So I went as soon as so it opened on the 14th. On the 14th, I was at the bar. I was like, hey, can I get a Long Island, please? I was like, yes. I'm like, yes. That's how much I missed that drink.
But how I don't know how I care so much about the clubs. How are the clubs doing?
Not everything is closed, man. Like it's just you can go to like W Bar and get a drink. You can go to a restaurant, but the seats are really spaced out. But you can't go to, there's no club. No club is open. Yeah. The cinemas aren't open yet. I'm tired of watching Netflix. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I've seen everything on Netflix.
I have to head out. I have another call that I need to make.
But
I really enjoyed this. This was
cool.
super fun.
No problem. That's okay. If you're able to join back, like let us know after your meeting, because I don't know how long this is going to last. With the conference, but if this I also have to take it easy on them, because this is people are trying to figure out this remote thing with conferences. So if we end up not happening, at least I hope you all are okay with the fact that we met and had a good conversation.
For sure.
Yeah.
Oh, this was great. This is amazing.
Yeah, I have to drop too. So this was cool.
Yeah. Nice meeting you, Agent Man. Say bye.
Yeah,
bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah. So I'm supposed to be on vacation, but then now I have a call in 5 minutes. My manager.
Yeah.
to discuss why I'm not on vacation, because apparently somebody has been snitching on me that I didn't take time off. So I need to go, and thank you so much for having me, Chris. It was nice meeting you, Brennan, and Chegu. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you
Bye,
too.
everyone. Bye, everyone in the chat. Bye.
Yeah. Bye. Okay.